Welcome friends, regular listeners and new listeners to the program. This is Red Ice Creations Radio. My name is Henrik Palmgren and we are recording from the west coast of Sweden. And you can hear us every Thursday and Sunday through our website redicecreations.com. Check out our news section, our forum, and for you guys who want to have full access to Red Ice Creations Radio, don't miss out on our subscriber section. All information on how to sign up is available on redicecreations.com. And today we have a new voice with us on the program, AJ Bruno, who is behind the online bookstore One Heart Books. He's with us, and our main theme of today's program is mind control, EMF weaponry, and we're going to talk about a few good books on this subject. We're also going to talk about AJ's experience with EMF technology or weaponry. So we have a full schedule here ahead of us. I also want to mention his website, of course, or bookstore. Simply punch in oneheartbooks.com. Take a look around. He's got a whole section on the mind control with some excellent books available there. But there's a whole lot more for you to discover there on many different topics and subjects worth looking into. So take a look. Again, it's oneheartbooks.com. So let's say welcome to AJ Bruno and get this program on the road. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you, Hendrik, for having me on. I really appreciate it.
It's great to have you with us again. Thank you for coming on. This is always nice to, when we have a new guest with us on the show, to kind of I guess talk about a little bit about maybe the background on you, of course, but also the main thing here, your bookstore, of course, One Heart Books. Would be interesting to hear a little bit about that and when you started it, and I guess even why, and tell us a little bit about the name also, if you will.
Yeah, the bookstore I started working on it at the end of 2005, and got it live around December of that year. It's been up and running since then.
Mm-hmm.
And I call it One Heart Books because, there's the concept of the one heart. All life is intrinsically one.
Yeah.
And, everything in the natural world already, operates in a balance. And what we have with this New World Order is that they're coming in and trying to force this pseudo-oneness, which is these separate parts that work as this machine. But we have this, the one heart vibration of life, which is manifesting from the center of what I will call creation, which is stillness. And that's manifesting as a sound. Mm. And it manifests out of the silence of the center and returns to that silence, all of life. So we have birth and then death. But life itself is eternal. And then you have all life, and all matter is a manifesting vibration of that sound, and that all functions to the heartbeat of creation.
Mm. There's a nice, you have a little bit of, I guess it's a Rastafari theme, but also a concept of the Noah's Ark is kind of persistent through your website. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I was influenced a lot by the Rastafarians. I don't particularly adhere to a lot of their dogma, but they have a lot of good ideas, yeah. Noah's Ark is pretty much a remembrance of the destruction of Atlantis and the Great Flood and archaeological evidence of that occurring. Mm. Now, granted, Noah's Ark is basically a myth, but it's a symbol, for me, of that actually happening. Mm. In the past, and in these times, we're in that same situation again. Because I feel that, what we have today with all these elite bloodlines that have set themselves up in these positions of power, they were trying to do this, 10,000, 12,000 years ago whenever Atlantis fell. Mm. And that's what I feel Atlantis was, is that's the old New World Order. And here they are doing over again. they're trying to do it a different way.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. And you have you have a sub quote on the first page on your bookstore that says healing the planet of the new world order, disease, knowledge is medicine.
Yeah. Yeah, well, most of the problems that we see happen in these times are traceable back to these elite bloodlines. And they either create these problems, or like vultures, they feed on existing problems that are naturally occurring while obscuring any type of real solutions.
Mm.
And a lot of that time, this control comes about through the trauma that they create, and then misdirecting that trauma towards a specific purpose. And I mean, there's a lot to be spoken of in regards to that, but 9/11 is a perfect example of it.
Of course.
Yeah, they traumatize American society and the rest of the world with that event of being an inside job. And then instead of people thinking for themselves, they fall under that trauma, and then they're looking for someone to come and save them. So of course the state's going to tell them everything that they need to hear, supposedly.
Yeah.
And then they can misdirect them in whatever direction that they want. Here we have the war in Afghanistan and this whole Middle East agenda that's unfolding for these final stages of this whole agenda be put together to create the global government.
Yeah. Do you think that, as you have stated on your website, that knowledge is the kind of remedy against this?
Yeah, for sure. Knowledge is definitely a medicine. And there's a statement from Francis Bacon that knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
But if knowledge is power, I would ask the question over whom and what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
What's your intention with that knowledge? I mean, if you're going to use knowledge for self-empowerment, then that's fine. Then in that regard, we can say knowledge is power. But at the same time, we have to consider that a lot of people, especially these elites, will see that self-empowerment for them is actually having power over others. But it's not really the true, sense of having, the true power. Because to really have true power is not to really go out and step on anybody and let anybody step on you. There's that whole idea that I can gain something or someone can gain something from taking or manipulating somebody else.
Yeah.
And then that other individual will fall under that, misdirection, misunderstanding, that, what's the word? It slips my mind sometimes, words.
Yeah.
You get the idea of what I'm talking about, but that individual is underneath that spell.
Yeah.
But what spell is the one who's doing the misdirecting under? Who's the greater slave here?
Yeah. So yeah.
With that, I feel with a proper understanding of knowledge and the right kind of knowledge, we can begin to solve all these problems that we're having here occurring on this planet. That's, a lot of it has come about through the Hegelian dialectic.
Yeah.
Over the centuries and over time. And really, what we have here is a collective problem that resides at the individual level. So, to really solve these problems, there needs to be enough individuals, in my eyes, to take that personal responsibility to heal their minds of all the misinformation and come to an understanding of what is at the roots of all this turmoil.
Yeah.
Because if we don't really get to the roots of what's going on here, then we can really never have any real solutions.
That's right.
There'll always, these elites and, people like George Bush or anybody else out there, the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and all their organizations will constantly, blow up these false solutions. oh, the economy's doing no good, then, well, here's the Amero, that's going to help, or, the European Union's going to make the economy better.
Yeah.
When in fact they're just all the stepping stones towards their end goal.
That's right. That's the deal they have laid out for us, and you kind of, I guess, as soon as you try to speak about breaking through, so to speak, to the other side, breaking through all the manipulation and all the propaganda, as it were, you actually pretty quickly in that discussion, in a way, actually end up on the topic of mind control, I guess, that we're gonna kind of dive into today, and simply because there are so many levels, of course, to mind control. There's obviously, people think of the hands-on, of course, more direct approach of actually, taking a person or a mind, or however you want to put it, and actually brainwashing that person in a way. But there's so much other mind control going on, day to day in our lives, through the media, again, through the television, and through all the outlets that they have. I don't know. Do you feel that it's difficult to help people, or even so to some extent yourself, kind of break through the media circus that is out there, and constantly, as you say, spreading the fear and manipulating us, and hence that is the mind control that we're battling, right?
Yeah, of course. There's all kinds of levels of it. There's the mind control that even our parents have picked up.
Yeah.
From the trauma that has come down, that we've all inherited. And then that gets passed on to the kids. And of course there's the simple lie, and having somebody believe it.
Yeah.
That's the softest form of mind control. And as you mentioned, then there's the hardest forms of mind control, which is that hands-on programming, traumatizing an individual from their childhood, splitting their mind, creating the compartments, and adding in the programs in each different dissociative identity, as a lot of people are calling it now, but the different personality.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course you have the subliminals and all that other kind of stuff. Breaking through it, I feel that I think it just comes down to something as pure as honesty. To really break it, it just takes the individual to be honest with themselves, and then to honestly look at the world they're living in and start searching.
Yeah.
And then over time, they'll find the clues. If you're honestly searching for answers, if you're honestly searching for an understanding of the world that you live in, and searching for an understanding of yourself, then you're going to find the answers eventually.
Of course.
There's that whole thing of seek and ye shall find.
Yeah. And nowadays, it's not that the information isn't out there. There's almost the opposite. There's almost too much information to wade through in order to get to the root. But I totally agree with what you're saying. If there's genuine interest in trying to understand what's going on, it's so easy these days to actually begin to read and through the web and all of this. Just there's so much information out there, right?
Oh, of course. There's tons of information. I think a lot of us who are into this are, operating under the burden of it all. It's like a weight.
It is in a way.
I find myself, I just have to take breaks from it. I just have to say, I'm just going to cool out and, just let my mind clear out, because there's that, there's the taking in of knowledge,